Hello, hello, everybody. This is Trisha Dyka of The Happy Empath. And today I'm super, super excited to be chatting with Natasha Ganes and Jennifer Griffith. We're going to be talking today about how to align yourself with wealth and attract abundance, which is always on everybody's mind. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. Please share a little bit about yourselves and let's just dive right in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. This is fun. Yeah. All right. Jen, shall I do the honors?
Do the honors.
Introduce us.
Yeah, do it.
So that's Jennifer Griffith, and I'm Natasha Ganes. And Jen and I have been good friends for many, many, many years. But it wasn't until a couple years ago that we sort of decided to join forces and take our areas of expertise and kind of mesh them together and marry them up and put them into a company that we call In the Life of Zen. And we also have a podcast that we call When Money Meets Soul. And so basically, In the Life of Zen is we focus on three major topics: money and abundance, like we're talking about here today, work-life balance, and passion and success. So we provide tips, tools, various ways to kind of get you flowing in those areas of your life. We also provide what we call a tribe membership, monthly membership. And it's basically like personal and professional development. So we have been on this journey together for a couple of years now, and we're excited. We love it. It's good fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yes, we work very well together, and it's great. And you know, it's important for us because I think to succeed both personally and professionally, you need to bring in, you know, what we often call the woo-woo-ness aspect, right? Your energy. How do you feel? Why is it that you're doing the things you do? So there's a lot of companies out there that obviously focus on and offer personal and professional development tools, but we bring that kind of woo-woo-ness aspect into it. And really one of the key elements of the woo-woo-ness we bring in. And then the other element is really focusing on the money talk, the conversations that don't often happen among individuals, but especially among women. So we want to really incorporate that because a person's personal and professional success really does rely on their relationship with money. You know, how is it that they feel? What do they believe about money? And that has a huge impact. So it's a big focus for us. So in order to kind of achieve that, the personal and professional success that you want, and hopefully live that life that you're hoping to live, that life of your dreams, what is your relationship with money like? So it's fun to talk about those things and kind of incorporate them in everything we do.
Which is really important because there's a lot of topics around money that are just total taboo. People don't want to talk about it, or they judge when somebody else talks about it. There is a lot of, for a lack of a better word right now, crap situated around money where it causes people to create judgment. And then they don't realize that by judging, they're lowering their vibe, or the woo-woo-ness of their money vibe altogether.
Yeah, and a lot of this stems from your personal belief system with money, right? How many of us grew up with my favorite negative belief about money, which is money is the root of all evil? We've all heard that over and over and over. So it does become taboo for individuals where it's like, oh, I can't talk about money because that's evil, or I can't want it because that would make me a bad person. So first off, so untrue. Money is not the root of all evil. It's a shame that that's ingrained into so many of our systems, but those are then those limiting beliefs, whether or not you're aware that you have them, that negativity, the judgment, that's all blocking you from receiving kind of that wealth and the abundance that you're looking for.
Yeah, and whether or not you're aware that you have those limiting beliefs, I think that's the key, is to figuring out what your money blocks are and then actively getting rid of them, right? And then one thing to keep in mind too is that money is neither negative nor positive. It's just currency. It's whatever you think of it is, right? So if you believe that it is, as you were saying, the root of all evil, then you're going to have some blocks there, and that's what it will become to you. So
yeah, at the end of the day, we need to remember that money is just energy.
Yeah.
Right? There's an endless supply of energy in the universe, period, end of story. Like that's what we need to focus on. So how do you align yourself with the energy to attract everything that you want, including money. You know, what kind of energy are you putting out? What kind of energy are you, you know, vibrating in and out? Because whatever you're vibrating out is also what you're receiving. So
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah. I mean, much like money,
got,
the universe, universe doesn't care. It's just, it's going to give you what you ask for, right? It's neither really doing anything. I mean, it's not negative. It's not out to get you. It's right. It's whatever you put out. That's what you're going to get back. Yeah.
Well, I have a question because Natasha, you brought up a point, but another good one is money does not grow on trees. I heard that all the time growing up. Shut the lights, shut the door. Money doesn't grow on trees.
And it is true. It does not grow on trees.
Well, not literally, but
however, there is
why not?
That, right? But
it actually kind of does, right? Because that's the same. That whole money doesn't grow on trees is just another way of saying that there's not enough, which is not true. There is enough for everyone. You don't have to worry that just because Joe Schmo over there has $1 billion doesn't mean you can't as well, right? I mean, there's no stuck amount that's set, right? That's not how it works. Yeah.
And that's important, but I know to focus on, because that's a scarcity mindset, right? Yeah. Now, in a sense, like, I understand if someone's telling you shut the lights, conserving energy, close the door, fine. We appreciate all of those things. What you don't want to happen is you become so, you have this scarcity mindset where everything is, I can't spend, I can't do that, I can't afford it, I don't make enough money, there isn't enough, I'm never going to be rich, only the lucky. That's a scarcity mindset. In my opinion as well, not just my opinion, but a scarcity mindset is also not giving back. If you have wealth, and you have money, give that back, circulate it into the universe by giving. And there's so many people, whether or not they are wealthy in terms of having a lot of money, that just will not give because they can't let go. A lot of times, whether you were poor when you were growing up, if you were raised in poverty, it's really hard to maybe give some money away. There are people who are greedy, right? In my opinion, greed is the root of all evil, because if you have that money and you're not willing to get rid of it, you're not attracting anything. That's a scarcity mindset. You need to be comfortable and at peace and knowing, in my opinion, the whole point of building wealth is to be able to give and help others. So circulate that back into the universe.
I would say that that's like within the top, what do you say? 3 important things to remember is to want more for others, right? What comes around goes around. So however that looks, whether that is, like you said, donating, giving back, or simply just wishing other people get whatever their dreams and their hopes are, right? That's very important for sure. Because it also, on top of everything else, it kind of gets rid of that comparison thing that we have going on, right? So that guy over there has a lot of money, which then I could never do that. I mean, that again is scarcity too. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that the number one thing when it comes to wanting prosperity, wealth, abundance, the number one thing is why, right? That's like the most important question in the history of questions. Why? Why do you want money? Why do you want abundance? You have to look at, is it that you want money or do you want freedom? Right? For me, my why is freedom. It's a freedom to do whatever I want, help whomever I want. So why to me is freedom to help myself and to help others. Your why, Natasha, might be totally different, and yours, Trisha, completely different. Everything you do when you're trying to attract and align yourself with wealth should focus on your why, that principle. Do you want wealth because, again, it means freedom? Do you want something like prestige? Or do you just want to feel valued? It's understanding, why is wealth and abundance to you? Because I think once you're aligned with your why, that's when tangible and material wealth is going to follow. But you have to understand your why, because it's not really about the money itself. It's about, what is that money going to provide for you?
I mean, very few people your why usually isn't just to collect dollar bills in the bank, right? I mean, there's a reason that you need to be doing that, whatever that is. Jen and I actually were just talking offline about this. So I just recently discovered this, and I think it would be just great fun. But it is, are you, Trisha, Jen, I know you are, but Trisha, are you familiar with Abraham Hicks?
Yes.
Yeah. So they have a game. It's called the Prosperity Game that you can play. And basically what it is you invent this imaginary bank account, like a checking account, right? And you can do it, you can create something of your own online if you want, but I mean, you create like your own ledger, and then you create checks. And each day that you start out on the first day, you write a check to yourself and you deposit it for $1,000. And then you spend it. You spend that $1,000 and you write in your ledger where you spent it. So if you want, for instance, clothes, and whatever your favorite clothing store is, then you write, I wrote a check out to blah, blah, blah for $1,000. The next day you do it for $2,000. The following day you do it for $3,000. And then you keep doing it every day. And I mean, they're suggesting you do it for an entire year, every day for an entire year, which if you do it every day for an entire year and double it up every day, then you have written a check to yourself and spent $66 million within a year's time. So part of why they're saying you should do it is it gets your kind of creative juices flowing, but it also puts you in that mindset where you start thinking about what your why is, right? Because at first you're blowing it on whatever you want, but after a while, you're probably going to start putting it towards whatever your why is. So yeah, we're going to start doing that. I think that sounds like a really fun
and
game.
for any latecomers, if you just heard that, that's a game. It's hypothetical. You do not spending $1,000 or $3,000 for real. It's a game.
No, these are faux checks.
We just have to clarify, because you never know what kind of emails we're going to get. I just went and spent $2,000 a month I didn't have.
I didn't get it back. Natasha did owe me money.
Well, it'll really broaden your creativity, because when you're reaching into the millions like that, it'll broaden what is possible. What could you do with that money?
Right. And then for sure. And then you actually envision yourself doing that, which then gets you excited, which is a huge part of manifestation, right? You start feeling it. You not only see it, but you feel it. And if you spend every day in that type of space, I'm really curious to see what the outcome would be if you continue that for a while. And I don't know, a year seems excessive, but whatever, if you really, but I think that a lot could be accomplished through that. So I'm definitely going to give it a go.
And then I would challenge everyone too, if you're doing that, I would almost say, a percentage of that spend, be it 25%, 50%, can it go towards helping others? Because then you're taking that like visualization in that game to a next level, right?
Sure.
Half of this is for me, but half of this is to help whomever, a family member, a friend, a charity, an organization. And then I think what that does is, as you're playing with what you're attracting, it's just bringing in more of like that good stuff. Like, okay, I'm not just going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on how my wealth is going to make the world a better place. So.
And then on top of it, what that does too is you start living as if, right? And then once you start living as if, you start vibrating higher. And we all know, once you bring up your vibration, all good things, right?
Yeah. Because that's exactly it. I think if we look at what can we do today to start attracting prosperity, abundance tomorrow, the number one thing would be exactly that. Live in gratitude. Give thanks for everything you have today. And then all of those visualization exercises, the game, the stuff you're spending on, if you meditate, or if you just sit, or if you have a vision board and you look at your future, give thanks for all of those things you see as though you already had them today. Right? So you want to get to that point. The other thing I think is really important too is, with your current finances, you have to show them respect. If you want more money and if you want to attract more, you have to tell your current money that you mean business by understanding it, by really creating some kind of financial literacy that helps you understand how much is it that you make, how much do you spend, and what do you have left over. I really think if you don't understand your current finances, it's going to become a little more challenging to get ahead and get control of whatever money is coming your way. So really just show respect for it. And then, like we said, give back. Again, you're going to circulate, right? You're going to tell the universe that you're ready to receive more by giving. And the more you give, whether it's money or not, it doesn't have to be monetary. If you're not in a position currently where you can give any kind of monetary gifts, can you help someone? Can you buy groceries for your elderly neighbor next door? Can you, bring trash bins in for a neighbor on trash day? Think of ways of helping others, because that really, whatever you put out, the universe will give you, give it back to you. And then Tasha, you said it earlier, the next thing is just act as if. And when you act as if, again, it's not saying that hypothetical game to go spend all the imaginary money that you don't have, don't spend it in real life, spend it hypothetically. But the other thing of acting as if as well is act and behave in a manner that makes you feel more powerful. And you do that by surrounding yourself with people who are wealthy, right? They become your friends. This is now the people who are going to be part of your social circle. You seek the advice from people who know how to build wealth. And we say this all the time. If you don't know anybody personally, then that's when you surround yourself with the experts. You read their books, you watch their documentaries, you listen to their podcasts. They now become your circle of friends. There was a book, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Where he suggests doing an imaginary round table.
Yes.
Is that the book, right? Where he
Absolutely. Yes, I actually have it.
It's so
good.
I
do too. Yeah.
So imagine in a visualization meditation, or just close your eyes and then imagine sitting at a table with all of the people that you admire, all of the people that you know that have wealth. Be it Oprah Winfrey, be it Warren Buffett, be it whomever, could be a family member, a friend. Pretend like you're sitting at a table with them and start asking them questions. Or the other thing is, in real life, that's a meditation, but what you can also do is watch their behaviors. What do they do? Who are they giving back to? How do they save? What do they invest in? This should now be your circle of friends to help you attract more of what you want.
You can also learn a lot from your actual circle of friends. Like if you have friends that are good with money, right? Or, I personally have a few friends that are really frugal and really good with money without having like any sort of like scarcity mindset, right? Like they just happen to be really, really good. It's funny. It was so weird. When I was thinking about that we were going to be talking today, I had the dog on a walk this morning, and one of my neighbors, never seen him before in my whole life, drives by and he stops and he leans over, and I know he's one of my neighbors because he was pointing to the condo he was living in, and it's a gated community, right? And he says, the best way to save money I found throughout the years. And I'm like, what's happening right now? Is this really a conversation? It's just gonna get thrown at me. I'm like, okay, lay it on me. And he's just like, nice dog, by the way. And then he just starts going on and he goes, I knew a guy when I was younger who was extremely successful businessman. And he said his biggest piece of advice to me was, if you're going to purchase something, get 3 price options. Always get 3 price options before you put the money down. He goes, and that piece of advice has saved me thousands and thousands of dollars over the years. And then he goes, I was just talking to this guy over there. I asked him, how much could I get, window washing for? And the guy's like, this amount of money. He's like, oh, I was just going to pay this professional guy over here that amount of money. I just saved myself $1,000. He goes, see, happens all the time. You just 3 different quotes. That's what you got to do. And then he just drives off. And I'm like, that's a really great piece of advice, actually. Yeah. And he saved himself thousands for whatever reason. He passed it on to me. But I thought it was hilarious because I have been doing a lot of like sort of abundance type, raising my vibe stuff lately. And those types of stories keep happening to me. Like, it's just like
I'm going to ask about that. I want to ask about what types of abundance type things are you doing to raise your vibe? And I also want to ask, I know for a fact, it's very, very important to have a supportive environment. It's super important to hang out with people who support, challenge, uplift you. So on that note, if somebody doesn't have that, what else can they do to find that? Yes, reading books is excellent. I highly recommend Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Awesome book. And then there was one more question. Do we need to know what particular limiting beliefs are holding us back, or can we work with this specific point and move forward?
Okay, let's work backwards.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So your last question. I think that with a little bit of research and paying attention to thoughts as they pop into your head, you can kind of ferret out what your limiting beliefs are, right? I know it's difficult to think about, well, I don't think I have any limiting beliefs. Well, we all do on some level, right? So, but what you can do is, say, for instance, you're passing by a window store and you see these fabulous pair of boots, and your first thought is, man, I wish I could afford those boots. That's a limiting belief right there. And you've got that. You think that you can't afford something. So in the moment, just because you have that though, so what? You can just stop in that moment, recognize that you just had a limiting belief thought about money, and change it up. So then say you're walking by that store, you have that thought as you're holding a Starbucks coffee. Turn around and say to yourself, I am so lucky and glad and blessed that I have the money to be able to afford this Starbucks coffee. And fill in the blank, whatever it is, or that I'm able to afford the shoes that I'm wearing right now, or this fabulous necklace I have, whatever the case may be. You can always flip that around. But I think if you start paying attention to those little like negative thoughts that fly through your head, then you'll start kind of getting to the root of what your limiting beliefs actually are. And then once you start realizing what they are, then you can flip them around just like that, or in other ways. But do you have to know what they are necessarily? Maybe not, but I think it helps, you know?
I think you do. Yeah, in my opinion, I think you do. I think once you know why you want wealth, you have to also understand what's blocking you. Because some people work so hard, right? You're working and you can't make that stride. It's like, I don't know. But if you listen to your, a limiting belief is just negative self-talk. And we don't want to admit it, but we have it. Even for us who are very positive people, we always suddenly, it's like, where the heck did that thought come from? We all have negative self-talk. So I do think, do some exercises. What Tasha said is excellent. Whenever a negative thought comes up, write it down. Maybe if you can, like at the end of each day, or on, we all have phones with us at all times, make a note, like, you know what, today I thought this. Today I thought only the lucky get rich. Today I thought, wealth changes people. Those are all limiting beliefs. And then if you can, like Tasha said, like you want to counteract it with a positive statement. At times it's switch it to something else, or sometimes it's, let's just say you think, I don't have enough money. Tasha taught me a huge lesson years ago where it's like, just get rid of the word don't. There's one word in that sentence that could change it from a negative to a positive. And suddenly you say, I have money, or I have enough money. So what you do want to do is you just want to be aware of these limiting beliefs. And there, on our website, we have some exercises or some articles on it. You can find a ton of things. There's worksheets where it's like, how do you feel? Rate this on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, I don't believe in it at all, 10 being, I absolutely believe in it. When you do exercises like this, when you look at negative statements, it could be almost like, it's just showing you a blind spot, right? Like, oh, I never thought I have to work hard to make money. That's a limiting belief, by the way. Like a lot of people think you have to work hard to make money.
Or you have to spend money to make money, right?
Yes.
That's a huge one. People always say that to me. You have to spend money to make money. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? But also another thing too, before I forget, because it just popped into my head, another way besides just paying attention to what your thoughts are, another way to kind of figure out what maybe a limiting belief you have is think back to what your parents told you about money. Because often a lot of our limiting beliefs, that's where we're getting it from, right? Especially depending on your generation. I mean, I know my parents' generation, it was very much like you find yourself an awesome job, you hunker down and you stick with that thing.
Yes.
Because it's I mean, there's no taking risks. It's just completely different from my generation, right? That whole thought process on that. Or so-and-so, that family, because we're from small town, that family over there, they're kind of funny about money. Well, what does that mean exactly, right? But I remember hearing things about that. Or, if your parents spent a lot of money or bought for everyone else, there's some limitations going on within that, right? So maybe see what maybe you could have picked up from a family member too.
Yeah, and I think ask yourself this question. If suddenly you're aware of a limiting belief, or your parents always repeated, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough money. That's ingrained in you, right? So go back to any limiting belief as they come up, or if you do exercises and you realize, oh gosh, I never knew this is something I believe, and ask yourself a couple questions. Is this really true? Do you really believe in it? Or is it that you believe in it because your mom, your dad, your aunt, your grandparents society has told you.
Yeah.
What does it represent for you? And then what would you prefer to believe instead? Right? So ask yourself those questions to figure out, you know what? No, this isn't my belief. This is somebody else's that I've been carrying for a long time. I'm going to choose to believe that money flows to me easily and freely all the time. And then just
no, that's perfect. We're 100% in charge of our thoughts. Whether you believe it or not, we are. So what, like you said, Jen, is key. What do you want to believe? Right? And then believe it. That's it sounds simplistic, but it is kind of simplistic. Right?
And
kind of how it works.
It's definitely simplistic. And I really want it noted, Jen, what you said is that a limiting belief is a negative thought over and over again. I think that is more stomachable than being told I've got these limiting beliefs. Because when you're told you've got all these limiting beliefs, people back up and they get this wall and they're like, I can't keep looking for limiting beliefs.
Right.
But if you reframe it, because the truth is, it's just a negative thought that you've had over and over and over and over again. And if you look at those, that's where you're going to find, and that's where you're going to be able to change it. I love that. That was huge.
Yeah. What's your current mantra about money? Right?
Yes.
Fix it.
And that's
whatever it is.
It happens to me all the time. Like suddenly I'll have this negative thought about money, and my go-to whenever I find myself like, that's not what I want to believe. My go-to is money flows to me easily and freely. So if that negative thought hits my mind, I just constantly start saying money flows to me easily and freely over and over and over. But I do want to add, when you create a mantra, an affirmation, a positive statement, you have to believe in it. You have to add emotion to it. You can't just be like, oh, I never have enough money. No, money flows to me easily and freely.
Yeah, it's not a magic potion. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen.
Right. It has to come from within. Like, no, money does flow to me easily and freely. Like I always have enough. I'm so grateful for all of that food in my fridge. I'm so grateful for the delicious shake I just had for lunch. I'm so grateful for the cup of coffee. Start to focus on everything that you do have. And then you see money does flow to me easily. It's all around me, so you get in that mindset where you feel it and you feel good about it. Cause otherwise I feel like it's almost fraudulent. Like you're
it will be. If you don't, if something doesn't sound right to you about whatever your mantra is, whether it's money or anything else, it's not going to work for you. So find a way to word it so that it does ring true for sure. Yeah. Okay. What was I know we said we were going to work backwards, and now I can only remember what the last one was. So
one of them was, what do you currently do, right, Trish? Is that what? Trish,
what are you currently doing to raise? Because you said you've been doing a lot of abundance exercises to raise your vibe, if I remember correctly. So I said, what exactly are you doing to do that?
So
first.
Yes. Because I've been doing quite a bit lately, and it is interesting. I keep getting these little like money saving tips, or money just starts coming from various areas lately. So I've been doing a few things. It's all very much, now we're going to tap into the woo-woo that make up Jen and I. This is all very woo-woo, but one of the things that we recently interviewed a woman on our podcast, that one of the things that she said stuck with me. She basically said, when you run into an issue in your life, whatever that issue is, most people focus on the problem, right? Whatever the problem is. And she said, what you need to do is focus on the solution, because the solution is the energy with which you want to welcome in, right? That's the positive energy, is wherever that solution is. So envision what that solution looks like, and then stick with that energy. So anytime I have an issue that comes up recently, okay, what's the solution? Boom, there I am. I'm here. I'm going to trust God and the universe to make that solution happen, and whatever, because sometimes the solutions come in ways that I would have never invented, right? So there's no point in me doing God and the universe's work, right? I'm just putting out there what I want, and then let that happen, right? But I stick with the solution rather than the problem, because if you stick with the problem, you know how that feels in your stomach, right? You're like, oh, I got to fix it. It feels awful. That's not where you want to be. So I started applying that to every area of my life. And then I'm finding that it has overall raised my vibration. And then though, I started doing little things like, So for Jen's birthday, I bought, because our company is called In the Life of Zen, right? So I bought her a candle that said Zen on it. I also bought myself one. I put it in my kitchen because kitchen Feng Shui wise is meant to, is kind of meant to attract money. So there's a lot of rituals for Feng Shui that you can do in your kitchen, particularly that's the room for money. You have a money room too, but kitchens are supposed to be really good for it as well. And I took the candle and I surrounded it by all these like magic rocks that I found when I was on holiday. And every night I light it. And as I light it, I give thanks for all of the money and wealth and abundance that I already have in my life. And so that was, so I've been doing a lot of little things like that. Surrounding myself with citrine, which is supposed to create, so it's a lot of like kind of crystal work too. Anytime, another thing that I learned on the podcast actually, which I thought was really cool, I can't remember which woman said this, but she said, and it goes along the lines of kind of what Jen was saying about respecting your money, but you hear this a lot. So she was like, take a look at your wallet. Is it a big junk pile with old receipts and outdated coupons? And is your wallet itself torn and missing buttons? I mean, what is happening with your wallet? That's where you carry your money, right? So put a bill in there. And every time you take out your card or a bill, whatever it is, give thanks to the money that's in your wallet, and then make sure it's nice and clean and looks like a place that your money would want to hang out in. So I started doing that as well. Yeah. I have a $2 bill that I keep in my wallet. And every time I spend any money whatsoever, I'm like, thank you. I'm sure every cashier on the planet thinks I'm nuts, but what are you thinking in there? My money gnome. So little things. So those are just a few things that I've been doing. Yeah. And I've noticed it's really, yeah, it's helping. Yeah.
Yeah, there's never a lack, right? And yeah, I'll mimic that. So I do the same thing. So I've always carried a large bill in my wallet, just knowing that it's there. I can never touch it. It's been there for years. It's not an emergency fund. It's just there because you always know that amount is there. But recently, that same interview, what she recommended is that you write thank you on whatever. It could be a $1 bill, it could be a $2 bill, it could be a $1,000 bill.
That's right. I forgot that part. Yeah.
You write thank you. And then the same thing, every time you open your wallet, you give it thanks and you keep it clean. That's one thing I did after that podcast. Took out all those old receipts that were hanging out in there.
Yeah.
Keep it clean. For me, I like to start every day I start every day kind of in silence and sitting in gratitude. But I have a vision journal. So it's like a vision board. It's just a book. And there's a separate page for each area of my life. So one is just on myself, like what do I want to look like? What do I picture myself looking like in the future? The other one is my schedule. What does an ideal schedule look like for me? Then there's work, home, kind of mindset, family, a little bit of everything. So every day, the first thing I do once I sit down with my cup of coffee or tea is I open that journal and I give thanks for everything I have. So it's, magazine clips, pictures that I put in my own journal, and I'm giving thanks for it as though I've already had it. And that's how I start every morning, just kind of in that, and it makes you feel so good. You start the day on a really positive note. I also read a passage from a Simple Abundance book, which is just a great way to kind of focus on living an authentic and kind of simple lifestyle. And then I get really woo-woo. So similar to that prosperity game that Tasha was talking about, I keep checks from the universe on my desk. So in my 9 to 5, I do business development, and I'm responsible for a really large portfolio. It's about a $10 million portfolio. So I can get contracts in from anywhere from $1,000 to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Regardless of the amount of the contract, whenever I get a signed contract from a client, I take out my abundance checkbook, I write myself a check as though that money is directly hitting my account, and I give thanks. So it's all of this money that, to me, it makes you feel like, okay, it's happening. So it's a lot of fun. I keep it here on my desk. This is what they look like. I don't know if you can see that.
Cool.
But I do. It's just something fun to do and to kind of raise your vibration.
Yeah. Another thing too. So there's a website where you can print off universal bank checks and then write it out for whatever you wanted to write it out to. So I did that, and I keep that in my wallet as well. Another thing, and this sounds again kind of woo-woo, kind of weird, but one of the things that I do is I make my passwords something that I want to, that I want to create, right? Whatever that may be. I change them up often enough, but it's whatever I want to kind of focus on that month. So you could always do that with your own, money comes to me easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, obviously that's a terrible password, but you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that.
No, that's an excellent point. So that's something I do the same exact thing. And, a lot of times now you get that auto save your password. Don't do that. Do something where you're being forced to type that password in every single day. So let's say your goal is to go to Italy next year. Make your password going to Italy 2022, exclamation point, whatever you need to do.
Or even better, I'm in Italy 2022, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I do that too. All of you have to write them down because after a while, it just some need an exclamation mark, some don't, but make them a reoccurring statement that you're forced to type in or say over and over and over and over.
Yeah, that's just a mantra. Basically, that's what you're doing, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And it's repetitive. So it creates new neurotransmitters in your brain to create those new roads, those new beliefs that are actually, or those new positive sayings, which end up becoming new beliefs.
And it's fun.
Exactly.
You type it in, it should make you smile, it should make you feel good when you're typing it in. So play that game. What do you do, Trisha? Do you do anything on a daily basis to help raise your abundance?
Well, I've got sage, I've got grounding balls, I've got crystals all over the place.
Perfect. Yeah.
All over. Like I do have citrine, but I do not see it on my desk right now.
Another thing, Tasha and I both do this in our kitchens. As Tasha mentioned, that's a place that attracts a lot of abundance. We both keep a money tree. And then near that money tree, you need to have 9 citrine stones. You don't need to. They recommend a money tree and they recommend 9 citrine stones in your kitchen. We just both happen to put them near one another.
So it was so funny. I went over to her house. I'm like, would I do that?
And there's a ton of great tricks. Like if you go look on Feng Shui, Feng Shui is all about energy and attracting more energy. And I know we keep saying woo-woo. I know some people think it's hippie. It's for us, we're in California. It's the California hippie chicks, This is all, there's a science to Feng Shui.
It's not just
quantum physics. Quantum physics is all about energy. Yes. People are proving these things each and every day. So we like to throw in the fun aspect. But if you think this is all a bunch of mumbo jumbo, no, science is proving this. People are proving this. This works. And at the very least, it makes you a much happier person and people like being around you because it's like, oh, there's something about her energy. Like Trisha's energy is so neat. I just want to be around her. So at the very least, try these things to just have fun and be a little happier. But no, there is truth to it and you can look it up and science does prove it. So
our minds are very powerful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. Our minds are super powerful and people, I think people are actually accepting that woo-woo is being proven scientifically over and over again now. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, they're some of the top two that I know of that constantly, and they talk woo-woo and they talk energy. And it is the truth. Every single thing is energy. Everything, our bodies, our, anything that's around us in our environment is all made up of energy. So, I think these are like great, what it is too, it's super easy what you guys are talking about. And when you have super easy tools and techniques, people are more apt to do them because when you have these long drawn out techniques or these rituals, people are like, yeah, that's too long for me. So if it is super easy that you can do all day long, people are like, all right, I can input this into my life. I can input this into my life. And that's pretty big.
And Abraham Hicks says it takes 17 seconds of visualizing or living in gratitude to make a difference. 17 seconds. That's nothing. If you don't have 17 seconds a day to spend on living in gratitude or visualizing the life that you want, you've got some serious issues because 17 seconds.
You're more overbooked than we are.
But you said it, Trisha, it's all energy. And the whole thing is we want to align ourselves. We want to give out energy and radiate the energy that we want to attract.
Yeah.
And then once we do that is, what Tasha said earlier is you have to have faith that the universe, God, whatever your higher power is, they're going to bring you exactly what you need. So if you have a goal, don't control the outcome. At that point, you need to just let it go. The universe, God will provide, but you do need to take action, right? So if there's something you want to achieve, you need to elevate yourself to a point where you just know, I know this is going to happen, and I'm going to do everything in my power to work on it. I'm going to do one thing a day to align myself with that goal, but you don't control the outcome. At that point, you let the outcome go, but you're proactively doing something every day to attract whatever it is that you want. So, and that all helps to raise your vibrations. So again, raise that, live, radiate exactly what you want to attract. If you're negative, negativity is going to come to you. If you're positive, positivity will come to you. If you're living in a scarcity mindset, guess what? More bills, more issues. If you're living in an abundant mindset, you're going to find ways to be so grateful for all of that abundance you already have, even if it means that you don't have the money yet. Right? Even if whatever it is, you have so much to be grateful for already. And all of this will lead to successful manifestations and attracting prosperity and wealth into your life. Because what happens is you have a vision, but then successful manifestation is a direct result of your vision, your action, and then the emotion that's tied to it.
Right,
So
exactly.
every day you have to do something and then just put it out and know, you know what? This is what I'm going to focus on every single day. This is my why. This is in alignment with my whole reasoning behind wanting more wealth and abundance. And I'm just going to trust that it's going to happen.
Yeah, you absolutely have to let go of the control of the how, right? It's just, this is what you want, put out there what you want, and then let go of how to get there. Because there's many ways to get there you've probably never even thought of. In fact, most of the time, that is the case, I find with myself. I'll put out there that I want something, and then when I get it, I'm like, boy, in a million years, I would have never have guessed it was going to come that way. But the problem was solved. Right. So
I also want to clarify, because this can be a little bit of the issue with the whole law of attraction. Some people think I'm going to think good thoughts and I'm going to sit on my couch and watch movies all day long
and eat a sandwich.
It's just going to come knock on my door.
Yeah.
That's not how this works, right? Yes, you have to think the good thoughts, but you do have to do something to align yourself with what you're hoping to achieve. Do one thing, even if it's just one thing every single day. It's not going to come knocking on your door. You have to do something towards it. It will come, but you have to try. So it is a little bit of planning, action, and emotions. To me, that's a secret combination to really doing successful manifestation and attraction. So really,
even if those actions are just raising your vibration, right? I mean, you're doing something, do something. Yeah.
Okay.
Jim
So
Carrey says that pretty, go ahead.
About, you've got your threes. Now for the person who does not understand the emotions or cannot bring themselves to, let's say, deep emotion, what suggestions do you have?
So they can't bring themselves to emotion.
I've had people say, well, I do that. And I'm like, well, what about the emotional piece? And they're like, well, I say it and I really feel it, but nothing's happening. So I'm curious, how can you get somebody, or what tips do you have for somebody to come up with a stronger emotional response?
For myself personally, what works the best is when I am in a moment that makes me feel great joy or happiness, I stop, I recognize it, and I really stay mindful of what that feels like. Because if I can stay mindful of it, really soak it up, and all that great, awesome, like I am totally at peace, I'm totally happy, whatever the case, the emotion may be, that positive emotion, it's easier for me to apply it to another scenario where it feels real, right? Because I can draw back on that recollection of it. I think in part, so I guess the short answer is mindfulness for myself, right? I just try and practice mindfulness all the time and be very aware when I am feeling something awesome. Yeah.
And I think what I really like to do, if you don't know how to kind of feel juicy and fun when you think about what you're trying to attract, is do visualization exercises. And there's great guided meditations. You can get them for free on YouTube, online, on our website. but picture your life, what in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, and the next 10 years. If money wasn't an issue, if you had all the money in the world, what does your life look like? What do you look like? How do you treat the people you love? What does your house look like? What are you doing? What kind of job do you have? What are you eating? All of these things, you know, you want to kind of build this like, oh yeah, I see it and it's really fun and it's really cool. And once you have that image, 2, 5, 10, 20 years, you see your grandchildren in the future. The next part of that is you give thanks for all of those things. You know, in that, it could be in that same meditation. You just look at your future self and thank you. Thank you for the car I've always wanted. Thank you for my beautiful home. Thank you for my ability to have a foundation and help hundreds of thousands of people. If you do that long enough, if you can get to a point where try to do that every day for 21 days, for 30 days, you start to feel it and you start to feel just really happy. And it's like, oh my gosh, whenever I think about my future, I get so excited, or it gives me butterflies, or I get the chills, and I just know everything's going to be fine. That's going to help you, hopefully, for all of those, either the naysayers or the people who just feel like I can't overcome that hurdle of feeling good. Play the games, do the things you need to do to feel really good about what you're envisioning. And kids are great at this. As adults, you know, we kind of stop to dream and have fun. All this is dreaming. And when you think and when you visualize your future, it should feel really, really good. If there's anything,
and if it doesn't, then you need to switch up your future.
Or if you feel shame or if you feel guilt, like if you're feeling any negativity, then those are blocks. It's probably some negative self-talk that you have that you need to focus on. Because when you're creating the future of your dreams, there shouldn't be any shame, there shouldn't be any negativity. It should be downright fun. And all you're doing is dreaming and envisioning and imagining, and then live off of that with that feeling in mind. If you could do a 5-minute visualization exercise in the morning, and then with that, as soon as you stop and you feel so happy about what you just accomplished, then set off to do one thing on your list of goals while you're still in that kind of high level vibration. See if that helps. That's what I do. That helps me.
Yeah, or if those are great too. Those are easy things to do.
Yeah. Anytime you feel any sort of peace or anything like that, another thing you could do too is just immediately think of what it is that you want. Like if you're trying to manifest something, for instance, and something completely, you know, over here happens and it just cracks you up. If you can remember, try and pull in what it is you're trying to manifest when you're already in that headspace where you're just laughing or feeling good, you know? Yeah.
That's a really good
that
idea.
takes a little bit of control of your mind, but you know what, again, you're in control of your mind. So
and again, it's easy stuff. I mean, if you like this morning, I got an email and I loved it and I was so happy. So it's like that happiness, bring it forward. And there's one thing that worked for me when you said visualization. I visualize when I can't get past my own self. I will do a visualization where it is 20 years in the future, looking back today, saying thank you because I am here because of you.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. That's great. Yeah.
Another great thing for people who don't like to meditate, or they find it too hard, or they just can't get into it. There's guided meditations, but another form of this exercise is write yourself a letter. Have your future self write you a letter thanking you for the amazing life that you've given, and keep that somewhere. Like I keep it tucked into one of my books, and every now and then I take it out and it's, oh my gosh, thank you for this amazing life and all of the trips we've gone on, and then write all of the trips. Thank you for all of our grandchildren and the happiness they bring, for our home that allows us to bring in a huge family. Write yourself that letter as though, or someone even said recently, she has her clients write obituaries about themselves.
I was just, I was just going to say, I wonder
how great of a life you've lived.
Like, I'm wondering for some people too, if it might be easier to hear the words from somebody else. So then what you could do is you could have somebody else write it for you. Like, would you do me a favor? How do you envision how awesome my life's going to be? And then you read those, whatever words, you know, from your best friend or whomever, right? And then, because that might be a little bit easier to accept if it's coming from somebody else, perhaps.
Good idea. Yes. All right, ladies, it is about that time. This has been amazing. I've loved every minute of it. Always talking with you two is so much fun. But please share anything coming up with you or where people can reach out to you.
Yes, so our website is the best place. So it's inthelifeofzen.com. We have weekly resources that you get for free. There's some free tools. We also have the monthly membership that Tasha talked about, and that gives you anything you need to focus on money and abundance, work-life balance, and passion and success. So we have affirmations, mantras, guided meditations, EFT tapping sessions, hundreds and hundreds of tools and resources available to you. We practically give it away. So it's only $5.55 a month. So if anybody's interested, please join our tribe. Reach out to us at info@inthelifeofzen, and we're always happy to help.
Yeah, and also on our social media, follow us, because when we do have presentations or things coming up, we always announce it on there. So yeah. Because I was going to say we do have something coming up in May, June, but I don't remember the date. So just follow us on social media.
I don't have too much going on. Yep. So just follow us. We're always putting some fun stuff on there. And at the very least, if you need those friends or that social group to just egg you on and give you that support you need, that's exactly what we're trying to do, especially for a community of women, just uplifting one another up, helping each other and being each other's cheerleaders. So hopefully you'll join our little circle. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trisha. This has been great. It's good to see you again. Yeah.
Thank you. And as always, you guys gave great tools, great tips, and it's all like, I love quick and easy. So everything that you guys have said has been quick and easy because I want to live my life. So this is awesome.
Thank you.
Good.
And for more of this, that weekly podcast too, we have the Where Money Meets podcast, where we interview Trisha, we interview industry experts, but all on our key pillars. So there's lots and lots of ways to get this kind of information and kind of be uplifted. So thank you again, Trisha. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great one, guys. And as always, do what resonates with you and tweak it to make it your own so that you will be consistent with it. And if you have any questions, please post below and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you all.